Thank you for tuning in to Coppen with Comic. I'm Brian Coppen, and we're with comic Courtney Maginnis. Courtney Maginnis, how the hell are you?
I'm doing good, Brian. How are you? Happy quarantine.
Oh, happy quarantine to you. We could have said that every day for the past 3-4 months.
Yes, isn't that nice?
I'm so glad we're doing so today because Courtney Maginnis, where can we see you do comedy online? It looks like you're doing some sketch videos on social, and that's Court Maginnis on both Twitter and Instagram.
That is correct. Court Maginnis or CourtneyMaginnis.com. I'm very bad about updating my website, but I'll probably get around to it sometime this week. And I also have a podcast called The Narcissistas, and you can check out that anywhere you get podcasts. Yeah.
And that's you and who else? Do you have a co-host?
Yeah, so it's actually my best friend of the last 15 years. He's not a comic, but he's way funnier than me, if that makes sense.
Something to aspire to. Yeah, to be as funny as your non-comedic co-host.
Exactly. Every time he gets a good joke in, I'm like, God damn it.
You're writing material, for the next time around.
I mean, it's all just to impress him. But yeah, it's the two of us. And so, we've been friends forever since high school. So yeah, it's a pretty good rapport. It's pretty easy doing it with your best friend.
And you guys talk about divas, which is what we're going to talk about today.
Yes, that is truly the only thing I would like to talk about. I think there's so much important things to be talking about, but my favorite thing to talk about is divas.
Yeah, what is it about divas that kind of focuses your attention, but also your passion?
That's a great question. To me, they're just like such just the cultural importance of them and how and just what they're just larger than life. You know what I mean? I obviously love pop music and I love R&B. Those are like my two favorites. And so I do like the music, but then just their cultural importance is so fascinating, and their celebrity. And I think I really grew up in a time where we watched celebrity go on this whole crazy ride, like just as the internet exploded and tabloids exploded. Like when I was a kid, People magazine was an actual magazine with articles. Yes. And then to just watch everything because and all these divas go through it. Like Britney Spears is a great example. Like what she's been through is just kind of the journey of celebrity. And now I think we're in a much better place, but that definitely has been my fascination. Just watching these girls from the 90s to now is just an insane journey,
Yeah, MTV was pretty huge. I used to work in a music store during MTV, and they always had Total Request Live on with Carson Daly. And to see the Britney Spears videos and the Christina Aguilera videos, they kind of lead me to the question of, is it a reflection of society, and if so, how did society kind of spur on, how did society create the divas like Missy Elliott back in the day, to Britney Spears a little bit later, to Mariah Carey, to somebody like Beyonce and Rihanna today?
Yeah, sorry, you can probably hear my dog in the background. She's just making sure she's here.
Yeah, good job.
So I think the internet has a lot to do with it. I think just celebrity, because I think with the internet, all these American celebrities quickly became global celebrities almost instantly. And then just it's almost like a drug, just feeding into this need to know. I mean, we watched it with reality TV too, where it's just the need to know dirt and know behind the scenes, what's going on in these people's lives. And so I think, Missy Elliott back in the day, I think she was, Missy and Mariah both are early 90s. They kind of exploded. And so
almost they were pre-internet even. So, I mean, it might have had more to do with, Missy Elliott making great videos than any kind of spreading on the internet.
Absolutely. So I think what's interesting about the two of them is, you're right, it's pre-internet. So it was more they had to perform for the machine that is the music industry, if that makes sense. So Mariah Carey had to impress Tommy Mottola, and in order to get a chance,
marry him too, right?
End up marrying him, which, by the way, fuck Tommy Mottola. That's a whole other podcast. But like they had to like almost impress these like gatekeepers. And I don't know if you know this story about Missy Elliott. Back in the day, Missy Elliott, she performed, I can't remember what song it was, but she performed the song, and they actually had another girl perform it in the video because they didn't think someone who looked like Missy Elliott could, be a pop icon. And so that's the truth behind the garbage bag, in Missy's Can't Stand the Rain video, because she was like, oh, am I too big and black? Let me put on this giant big black garbage bag. And it became one of the most iconic music video moments of our like cultural generation.
Is that why she did it?
Yes, that's exactly why she did it. So isn't that insane? So like I think back then they had to like impress these old white men in order to get a chance. And now it's completely, I mean, obviously now when you come now, it's like you need a Spotify and an Instagram following, and you can kind of make your own way, and then they'll exploit you, but at least you have the opportunity to kind of build a following on your own. Whereas like Britney and Beyonce were kind of in the middle of everything. They got the tail end of the height of the music industry, like millions of albums sold the week it was released, which doesn't happen anymore. And the height of Total Request Live, like the height of this like huge pop wave. But now they've just kind of not only had to ride this wave through our like celebrity obsession and tabloid exploitation, and now they're having to like figure out the internet and how you release things on the internet. Like those girls specifically, and Rihanna's like a little bit later than them, but she had to as well. It's just like the way they've had to like kind of transform their business, and the way they release music is like basically just following the how the internet has evolved.
Yeah, and so I mean, back in the day when it's like John F. Kennedy against Nixon in debate. John F. Kennedy had to look good in a televised debate, and Nixon looked bad and sweaty. Whereas Britney Spears, to look good on TV, she needed to wear the Catholic schoolgirl outfit. But then when TV became less important, it almost gave Britney the license to melt down a little bit.
Exactly. Well, yeah, and I just think so we actually talked about this on our podcast. We kind of have this thing where it's like, especially like we were saying, in the TRL days, those girls that were child stars. So like Beyonce, Britney, like Britney was on the Mickey Mouse Club, Christina was on the Mickey Mouse Club, Beyonce was like on Star Search. So like these girls have been working since they were children, and then they just, hit an insane celebrity that I don't know if that sort of celebrity will ever happen again, just because now we're so siloed in our own sections of the internet and who we care about.
Yeah.
But they just hit this insane celebrity and had to deal with it. So we kind of talked about on my podcast, like, sorry, Millie, stop. So we talked about on my sorry. She knows a lot about Divas. We talked about on our podcast that like the girls who came from more middle-class backgrounds, like Beyonce, and had maybe more of like a stable family, and I mean that this very generally, they kind of weathered this and were able to not melt down in public in the way that like Mariah did. Mariah did it on TRL. Mariah was one of the first internet breakdowns. After Glitter came out, she kind of melted down on her blog, and that's when like celebrity gossip columnists started like blowing up. So like Mariah melted down, Britney melted down, but they both come from like more like I don't want to say lower class, but they were like, had struggled more growing up. Their family kind of, especially you see with Britney, like her family relied on her for money and stability since she was a like preteen, since the Mickey Mouse Club days. So we do talk about like those like meltdowns also have to do with the amount of weight that's on these girls' shoulders, and Britney is, I mean, that the exploitation of Britney Spears is insane. Like if you go back now in 2020 and look at the way the paparazzi treated her, I mean, it was disgusting. It was insane the way we exploited her. Like the meltdown was our society's fault. You know what I mean?
But do we think somebody like Beyonce is sheltered from that because she has the beehive? Like if paparazzi were to treat Beyonce like that, if they were to get through her 85 security guards, would the people just totally lynch whomever the paparazzi was?
I mean, yes. the hive
Yeah.
is strong, as
So,
Beyonce says. The bees bite back.
but why is that? Like, what, yeah, to me, like, here's my hot take. I think Beyonce is overrated.
Oh my
And
God.
yeah,
Oh
yeah.
my
So I'm gonna set you up here. I'm gonna put the ball on the tee, and you're gonna hit a home run with this tee ball. You're gonna hit it just out of the park, out of the state.
God.
Like, Rihanna's good, Beyonce's good. She has some good songs, but she's a little overwrought in that I think she can't treat a non-ballad with any sort of nuance, subtlety. Um, just something like Takeoff, which was, I think it was on the Watch the Throne album with Jay-Z and Kanye. She just only knows how to belt on
Yeah.
upbeat songs, whereas with a ballad, she almost is a little bit more delicate with it. Do we think that she lost her ability after Destiny's Child to belt out an up-tempo song? And of course, your answer is no. But why?
Oh, my answer is absolutely no. I mean, I think, whew, okay, whew, how do I, yikes, all right.
So many things to push back on.
Okay, so many things to push back on. First of all, the Beyonce is overrated thing is so insane to me because, I mean, this woman has been nonstop working since the 90s, right? And she has, I mean, go back and check the motherfucking receipts. This bitch has gotten better every single time. So I mean, Lemonade is a masterpiece. The visual album's a masterpiece. But I think her album 4 is where she really went from this like, that's when the album when she dropped her dad as a manager. This was her first album on her own with her own production company with everything on her own. And since then she has like transformed herself and elevated herself past anything anyone ever expected of her. Everyone tries to write her off because she is a black woman. I will say that absolutely. I think that, I mean, if you look at Beyonce in the 90s, she was being told she can't be on the cover of magazines because she's black and black girls don't sell magazines. And now fucking look at her right now. This bitch cannot do anything wrong. Everything is perfection. Everything is like her control, her vision, her like getting people to fuck together. People can call her whatever they want, but it's only because she is such a powerful fucking woman. And she said it in the graduation speech to the class of 2020. She was like, they wouldn't give me a seat at the table, talking about the music industry. So I chopped down a fucking tree and I made my own fucking table. She didn't say the fuck so much, but but like I just think she has surpassed anything that any diva has ever done before her. She is, I mean, Jay-Z's lyric, I'm not a businessman, I'm a businessman. That is Beyonce. Beyonce has like, and maybe it is with like the guidance of Jay-Z, but like she has created her own industry and the way she has impacted every single thing is like so mind-blowing. To be the first black woman to headline Coachella and just, I mean, have you ever watched Homecoming?
No, I haven't watched it. I think I might. I think I stayed away from it. That was the documentary recently released on Netflix, right?
Oh yes, oh yes, oh yes. It was a master. It was actually a film, by the way.
It's not just a documentary; it's a film. But that's what I'm hearing in the passion. Like a lot of the words I'm hearing are not, oh, she still is able to, treat an up-tempo song like she did back when she was with Destiny's Child, and that she's not a belter. Like I'm hearing things like dumped her dad as a manager, vision, control, all these things. The fact that she's a disruptor. She's the first black woman on the cover of blank or
Yeah.
open the first one headlining Coachella. But these things are the ones that inspire the passion in the Beehive. And I guess what I'm
Yes.
saying is a lot of that doesn't have too much to do with singing. Might have more to do with her message and,
Hmm.
and both in the lyrics and off the lyric sheets, the message and the vibe she's giving out through things like power and control and things like that. They
And
don't
being
have
a
they
fucking
don't have much,
woman.
but yes, I mean like the passion has little to do with her singing now, because it was just as good as during, or even better is what I'm saying, during Destiny's Child, or her on ballads like Halo or something.
Right. Okay, so yes, definitely. I think that when people try to come for me about how she's overrated or whatever, and like you're saying about like it has little to do with the music, I don't mind when people don't like her music. Everyone can like different music. So I think you are right in saying that like the passion and the real fire is just for like, I mean, like we talked about earlier, it just like the cultural importance of a woman like Beyonce. That is where like the passion comes from for sure. And just the like the queendom, the like bow down to her because she has done so much outside of the music.
Yeah.
But personally, me, I'm obsessed with everything. I'm obsessed with the Gift. Black is King is about to come out at the end of the month. Like, I mean, I listen to her music more than I listen to anything at all. So maybe vocally, I mean, listen, I am probably the worst singer of all time. I will definitely say that. But like, so I mean, vocally I'm not very like, I won't critique her too much because I don't know what the hell I'm talking about. I don't even know what pitch is. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? Like, but I'm like, I also love Jennifer Hudson. And so when Dreamgirls came out, they performed at the Oscars together, and Jennifer just outsang the fuck out of Beyonce. And I'm not saying
Uh,
like I don't see that. I don't know that. I know that there are better vocalists. I doubt there's better performers, but like musically, I am, whatever critique anyone has, I'm like, yeah, that's fine. You know, I sure maybe her voice did sound better when she was 20 years old releasing
yeah.
her first album, you know, first solo album. And you know, so maybe that is, but like I think you are right in saying that like the passion and the fire and the like, how dare you say she's overrated, is from how she has created a business, how much she means for women, how much she means for Black women, Black people, Black culture. Like, she is just so far. I mean, I love Britney. I will never talk shit on Britney, but like, look what Britney's doing, look what Christina's doing, look what Mariah's doing, and then look what fucking Beyonce is doing. Like, there is just no comparison to the girls that started at the same time as her.
Yeah, and I guess the big kind of comparison and contrast to set up is the fact that if you take Beyonce and Christina Aguilera, and they're both gifted vocalists and dare I say belters, you know, they belt it out.
Yeah, sure.
You know, there's a reason why, you know, there's a beehive behind Beyonce and not much of anything behind Christina. And it might not be the difference between black and white. Like if Christina were black, I think that she might have a little bit stronger of a following because her lyrics would be kind of parsed for meaning, you know, kind of an empowering message to black people. But you know, on the lyric sheet, off the lyric sheet, Christina is not doing much by way of message. And
Right.
that's why she doesn't have a beehive behind her.
Right, and she's tried to, I mean, again, love Rihanna, love Christina, love all these girls. But she has tried to reinvent herself every time in a Madonna type way. And I just don't identify with those people as much. As much as, I mean, Rihanna is like, musically, like those are my songs. I love, if
Yeah.
I'm in a party, I'm putting on Rihanna.
Yeah.
But the reinvention and the total like, I mean, I think Rihanna has a very strong personality, so it's different, but like I don't identify with Madonna as much. I don't identify with Christina as much because they just like try to do a whole new package every time. And to me, you're right. It's like not as strong of a message. There's not as much of a connection. Like maybe you're not into the package. So then what? That's like 2 years of like not really connecting with your air quotes like favorite diva. You know, I just
Yeah.
don't.
So
I
it's
don't know. It's
kind of
just hard.
it's kind of inauthentic with people like Christina and Madonna, whereas Beyonce has always been kind of one powerful black woman voice.
Absolutely, absolutely.
And
And
what about Courtney McGinnis's comedy can we take from this? Like if I were to look at you, and of course I do on Court McGinnis on social platforms, like what's the next sketch video that's going to give us the authentic voice of Courtney McGinnis? Is it powerful white woman, or what is it?
oh God, please no. It's a very sad white woman who's like trying her best out here.
As long as it's authentic, right?
Absolutely, absolutely, yeah. So at Core McGinnis, again, I make making stupid little videos in quarantine, mostly my podcast, The Narcissistas.
Yeah.
And if you want to check out any of my old stand-up videos, I do love to talk about diva conspiracy theories. So hello. Mariah Carey, did she plan 9/11 to cover up for the release of Glitter? I don't know. You tell me. Okay.
Yeah, to kind of sum up Courtney Maginnis, I see a picture of her with a championship belt on. She's carrying a dog, which also has a championship belt.
Absolutely, that is it. That is it.
So and I kind of worry though, because if you're just saying, really sad white woman, like what happens when you get happy? Like, are we going to think it's an inauthentic turn like a Christina Aguilera?
Oh
Or
my
will you
gosh.
never, or will you never change? Are you kind of stuck in that sad white woman box forever?
No, I'm definitely stuck in this box. See, I'm like a sad white woman who just on the exterior just pushes the happiness out. So I'm like, come on, please, love me. That will never change. That's been since day one, baby.
Oh, good. Never
I've got a
change.
strong brand.
And when can people look at Narcissistas? When is that released weekly?
Every Thursday, baby, Thursdays.
And it's just everywhere pods are. So Apple, Spotify,
Apple,
Stitcher, all that stuff.
Spotify, all the things. We make sure we're on all the platforms, so no matter what kind of phone you got, you can listen. We just finished a series on Lil' Kim that has been so much fun. Lil' Kim is so important. And yeah, so tune in to see who we got next.
And do that, of course, but when you look at her Twitter bio, you're going to see that her website is blacklivesmatter.com, and I love that.
Well, I mean, come on, that also really matters way more than my dumbass website.
Oh, good. Yeah, we just have to realize. Yeah, we have to realize these things that, like, yeah, our sad white woman vibe is totally important to keep authentic and consistent, but there's more important things out there, and Black lives do matter. So, Courtney Maginnis, thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Brian. It was so nice talking to you. I hope you have a good rest of the weekend.
Oh, you too.